Life was a beautiful, chaotic dance, a whirlwind of activity and emotion. It was a tapestry woven with threads of laughter, tears, and the everyday moments that made it all worthwhile. I was Jenna, a mother of 3, navigating the joys and challenges of raising a family in a world that never seemed to slow down. Juggling work, family, and endless to-do lists became my normal. Each day was a carefully orchestrated performance, trying to balance everything without letting anything fall apart. The mental load was immense, but I wore it like a badge of honor. I believed I was invincible, a superwoman capable of handling anything life threw my way. Healthy, active, always on the move, I prioritized my physical well-being, believing it was the foundation for everything else. I ran, I hiked, I ate well, or so I thought. Illness was something that happened to other people, not to me. It was a distant concept, a vulnerability I couldn't afford to acknowledge. I was too busy living to consider the possibility of being sidelined. Then, subtly, almost imperceptibly, the whispers began. A persistent fatigue that clung to me like a shadow, no matter how much I slept. It was more than just tiredness, it was a bone-deep weariness that wouldn't lift. A dull ache in my chest, a strange pressure that I couldn't quite explain. It came and went, sometimes barely noticeable. Other times a sharp reminder that something wasn't right. An odd tingling in my arm, a pins and needles sensation that I initially dismissed as a pinched nerve. I brushed it off as stress, the flu that was going around, or just being tired from the constant demands of my life. I rationalized every symptom, finding a logical explanation for each discomfort, each warning sign my body was sending. Jaw pain from grinding my teeth in my sleep, a habit I'd developed from the stress of it all. Indigestion from pizza night with the kids, a treat we all enjoyed a little too much. I was too busy to be sick, too caught up in the daily grind to even consider the possibility that something serious might be brewing. So I pushed through, ignoring what my body was desperately trying to tell me, convinced that I could handle anything. The signs were persistent, growing louder with each passing day, yet I remained stubbornly deaf to their pleas. But I kept finding excuses, justifications for why I felt the way I did, anything to avoid facing the truth. Looking back, I realized how profoundly disconnected I was from my own body, how I had silenced its voice in the cacophony of my busy life. I lived in my head, a world of schedules, deadlines, and responsibilities, always focused on my family's needs, their wants, their well-being, never prioritizing my own. My body was sending clear signals, waving red flags, desperately trying to get my attention. But I wasn't listening, too preoccupied, too self-absorbed in my role as caregiver to hear the cries for help. I treated myself like a machine, an unfeeling, tireless workhorse, expecting it to run flawlessly day after day without any maintenance, without any fuel, without any rest. The warning signs weren't whispers, not anymore. They had escalated. They were shouts, desperate pleas that I stubbornly refused to hear, burying my head in the sand, hoping they would simply go away. I was so focused on caring for everyone else, on meeting their needs and fulfilling their expectations, that I completely neglected myself, sacrificing my own well-being on the altar of motherhood and responsibility. That profound disconnect, that willful ignorance of my body's signals, was the silent accomplice, the unseen hand to the disaster that was looming ahead, the storm that was gathering on the horizon, threatening to shatter everything I thought I knew. I never imagined how quickly everything could change, how a life built on strength and resilience could be so easily upended. The Widowmaker, just hearing the name, is chilling. It's a heart attack caused by a blockage in the LAD artery, the heart's main blood supply. When it's blocked, the heart muscle dies fast. Survival depends on immediate help. For women, the symptoms are often subtle fatigue, nausea, jaw, or back pain. I had all those signs, but I dismissed them. We're taught to push through pain, but that can be fatal. Heart attacks aren't just for older men, they're rising in younger women too. I was healthy, active, and had no idea a silent killer was inside me. My life was about to be torn apart by something I never saw coming. The day it happened started like any other, making lunches, rushing around. Suddenly, a crushing weight hit my chest, pain shot down my arm, and I dropped the knife I was holding. Sweat poured off me, nausea overwhelmed me, and the room spun. I stumbled, gasping for air, vision tunneling. My husband's face blurred with fear as I tried to speak, but no words came. I knew with chilling certainty I was dying. The pain was all-consuming, erasing every thought. I collapsed, hearing my husband's distant shouts and the frantic call to 911. Then everything stopped. The pain vanished, replaced by a blinding white light. In that final moment, a strange calm washed over me. The struggle was over. I felt myself letting go. My last sensation was surrender, leaving chaos behind for overwhelming peace. The world I knew was gone. I was floating, weightless and free. I floated above my body, a strange sense of detachment washing over me. It was as if I were observing a scene from a movie, yet I knew, with absolute certainty, that the body lying below was mine. The room seemed distant, the sounds muffled as I ascended higher, drawn by an unseen force, free from pain and fear. The earthly burdens that had weighed me down for so long simply vanished. It was an incredible lightness of being, a liberation I had never imagined possible. The aches, the worries, the constant anxieties, all were gone, replaced by an overwhelming sense of peace. I watched my husband perform CPR, his face etched with worry and desperation. I could see the frantic movements, the beads of sweat on his brow, but it felt like watching actors on a stage. Paramedics rushing in, a flurry of activity and urgent commands, but felt no attachment to the scene below. It was as if I was no longer bound by the physical world. My concerns now lay elsewhere. The urgency of the situation didn't touch me. I was beyond its reach. I was enveloped in unconditional love, a feeling so profound, so complete, that it defied description. It was a love that knew no bounds, no conditions, no expectations, warm, infinite, beyond words. It was a light that illuminated every corner of my being, a space that stretched out forever, filled with a gentle, radiant glow. There was no judgment, no criticism, no weighing of my worth, only acceptance, a complete and utter embrace of everything I was, everything I had done without reservation. All my anxieties melted away, the worries that had plagued me for years dissolved like mist in the morning sun. I felt whole and perfect. Every flaw, every imperfection simply ceased to matter. I was complete, just as I was. The space around me shimmered with vibrant energy, a kaleidoscope of colors dancing and swirling in a mesmerizing display. More real than anything I'd known. The clarity was astounding, the colors more vivid, the sensations more intense than anything I had ever experienced in my physical life. I sensed loving presences, gentle, supportive, and radiating warmth. My late grandmother among them, her familiar smile and comforting presence instantly recognizable, communicating through pure feeling, a direct connection of hearts and souls, bypassing the need for words. I was not alone. Surrounded by love and light, I felt a profound sense of belonging. I was connected to everything, to all of life, a single thread in the grand tapestry of existence. The boundaries between me and the universe dissolved. I was no longer separate, but part of something vast and infinite. I saw that the love I felt for my children, so fierce and protective, was a reflection of this universal love, a tiny spark of the divine flame that burns within us all. This was not a thought, not an intellectual understanding, but a profound knowing, a deep and unwavering certainty that resonated within the very core of my being. It was the most beautiful, peaceful experience of my existence, a glimpse into a realm of pure love and light. I understood that we are all part of the same divine consciousness, interconnected and inseparable, each a unique expression of the same universal source. In that place, I was home, truly and completely at peace, surrounded by love and light. I never wanted to leave, to return to the limitations and struggles of my earthly existence. The pull of that perfect peace was irresistible. My life unfolded before me, not as a movie, but as a tapestry. Every moment, joy and sorrow was a thread with purpose. Pain wasn't punishment, it gave depth to the brighter threads. I saw my choices not as failures, but as lessons. I felt the ripple effects of my actions, the impact of kindness and anger. The purpose of life was clear, to learn and to love. My greatest achievements were simple moments of connection. Guilt and regret vanished. My life was a masterpiece of love. I relived holding my children, my husband's hand, laughter with friends. I was given a choice: stay in peace or return to my body. The pull to stay was strong, but my love for my children called me back. I chose life not for myself, but for them. I chose to return to love again. Returning was a violent jolt. Pain, sirens, and chaos replaced peace. I was rushed to the hospital, awake but sedated as doctors fought to save me. Emergency surgery opened my blocked artery and placed a stent. Recovery was grueling. Tethered to machines, too weak to speak, every breath painful. My family visited, faces etched with worry. After a week, I went home, but the journey was just beginning. I came back with restrictions, a bag of medications, and a body that felt foreign. Cardiac rehab was humbling, exhausted by the smallest tasks. I, once unstoppable, now struggled to walk to the mailbox. My life had been fundamentally altered. Survival was just the start. Rebuilding would take everything I had. I had to learn to trust my body again. Each day was a step toward reclaiming my life. The road back was long, but I was determined to walk it. The physical scars faded, but the emotional wounds ran deep. PTSD haunted me. Panic at every twinge, nightmares replaying that day. I no longer trusted my body. It felt like a stranger. Medications brought side effects. Fatigue, aches, weight gain. My children were scared, my husband became my caregiver, and guilt weighed heavily. Cardiac rehab was isolating. I was the youngest in the room. Slowly, I rebuilt my strength, but emotional recovery was harder. Therapy helped me face my fears and anxiety. I had to learn to tell real symptoms from imagined ones. Each day was a battle to reclaim trust in myself. My family and I navigated a new reality together. Healing was slow, but I refused to give up. The scars were deep, but I was determined to heal. I learned to accept help and show myself compassion. Step by step, I began to find hope again. Surviving changed everything. I had to rebuild from the ground up. The old me was gone. The new me saw life differently. The little things that once stressed me out no longer mattered. My family became my true center. I savored bedtime stories, listened deeply, and cherished simple moments. Love became presence, not just action. I learned to say no, to guard my energy, and to choose joy. Nature, friends, and small pleasures filled my days. Life still had challenges, but gratitude ran deeper than fear. Every breath, every sunrise, every "I love you" was a gift. My heart attack was both a tragedy and a gift. It woke me up. I learned that time is precious, and love is all that matters. I finally started living fully with intention and gratitude. My story is a warning, a stark reminder that life can change in an instant. It's a message etched in the heart of a survivor. And a plea. Heart disease can strike anyone, at any age. It doesn't discriminate based on youth or perceived health. It's a silent threat that requires vigilance from us all. Heart attacks are rising in younger women, a trend that demands our immediate attention and action. We need to understand why and what we can do to reverse this alarming statistic. Don't ignore the signs. They may be subtle, easily dismissed, but they are your body's way of communicating distress. Listen to your body's whispers, those gentle nudges that tell you something isn't quite right, before they become screams. Aches, pains, fatigue, and shortness of breath should not be ignored. Don't dismiss fatigue as simply being overworked or stressed. It could be a sign of something more serious. Shortness of breath, especially if it's new or worsening, warrants a conversation with your doctor. Or unusual pain. Pain that radiates, pain that feels like pressure, pain that is simply off, should be investigated. Women especially must advocate for themselves, be persistent, and demand answers. Don't let your concerns be dismissed, and make health a priority. Schedule those checkups, eat nutritious foods, and move your body. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't care for others if you're not caring for yourself. Take care of yourself first. Prioritize your well-being, both physically and mentally. Cherish every day, every sunrise, every moment of connection. Don't wait for a crisis to start living. Embrace the joy and beauty that surrounds you right now. Tell your loved ones how you feel. Express your gratitude and let them know how much they mean to you. Forgive freely. Release the burdens of resentment and anger, and let go of small annoyances. Don't let trivial matters steal your peace and joy. Find what brings you joy, what ignites your passion, what makes your heart sing, and do more of it. Nurture your soul with activities that bring you fulfillment. Every moment is a gift, a precious opportunity to experience life to the fullest. Live with intention and love. Make conscious choices that align with your values and fill your life with meaningful connections. My survival was a miracle, a testament to the power of hope and resilience. But the real miracle is the life I live now, a life filled with gratitude, purpose, and a deep appreciation for every breath. You are part of a beautiful tapestry, woven together with threads of love, strength, and resilience. Your life and love matter. Your presence makes a difference in the world. Pay attention to the whispers. Take care of your heart, both physically and emotionally.